Okay, so today is August 29th. It's Thursday, August 29th, 2019 at 2:30 p.m. and I'm here from Haunted Lake Shawnee Abandoned Amusement Park in West Virginia. And I'm trying to catch you up on my video logs by telling you what's happened during my trip so far, because it's been on the road for about 2 weeks and I tried to type this out, but typing it's much harder than just talking, although I get much more details when I type. I'm just gonna try to do my best. So now I'm on day 3, the third day. There goes the school bus. Anyways, day 3, August 19th, Monday, August 19th, 2019. I spent the night at a rest stop in Ohio that I'd actually thought was I actually thought I was in West Virginia. I didn't know, I mean, I knew I didn't see the signs, but I was only a half hour from the penitentiary, so I figured I may have been in West Virginia. I can tell you that the driving that I did right before I got to that rest area, I could tell I was no longer in Ohio or anywhere, because it just started becoming hills and mountains, and it's drastic, the change from the Midwest flatness all the way to, like, it's flat nothing. Everything looks like Iowa. Like, Iowa looks the same as everything, all the way basically through Ohio up until the edge of Ohio, and then it just becomes mountain land, and it's awesome. And then things get exciting. So, like, you know, basically after 12 hours of driving, then it starts turning into something that I haven't seen before. Well, I mean, I've seen stuff like it. I've never seen West Virginia, and this place is absolutely gorgeous, as you can see behind me. I love this place. But anyways, so Monday, August 19th, 2019, I'm sitting at a rest stop that's actually in Ohio, right on the border, like the tip of the border of West Virginia. And I couldn't sleep worth a crap, because what I'll tell you guys is, the night before, I decided I wasn't going to buy the tickets for the West Virginia Penitentiary photography tour. Okay? Like, the photography tour was only, the very last photography tour for the year was on Monday, August 19th at 10 a.m. and they said there's no more for the rest of the year. So I was frantic, right? And I was like, that's the reason I was so desperate to make it there. Look at this. Oh, it's a cable. Don't worry about that. Dumbass. Okay. So that's why I was very frantic to make it there on time. So I didn't buy tickets for this thing, because this part probably could be in the one that was before now, because this actually happened the night before. Anyways, though, I went to go purchase tickets at like 12 in the morning or something like that. No, it was, you know, maybe like a little earlier than that. Maybe. And basically they ran out of tickets. The thing stopped selling tickets. I was very worried about that happening. And then it was like, oh, sorry, we don't sell tickets online anymore. And I was like freaking out, right? Because it was the night before and I'd driven 12 hours and hurried to make this happen just so I could go to that specific tour on that specific day. And so I was freaking out. So I didn't think I could get tickets. It said to call the number, so I called the number, and basically I called the number and nobody answers, and I leave a voicemail freaking out. I'm like, dude, I'm from Iowa. I drove 12 hours to come do the photography tour that's only allowed on tomorrow at 10 a.m. I really hope you guys are gonna let me do this, because, like, you know, it's why I'm here. And, you know, kind of freaked out. They didn't, you know, obviously no response at that time. Okay, so fast forward to the actual 19th. I fall asleep, couldn't sleep worth a damn, right? Because like that's on your head hardcore. So I wake up at 4 a.m. with hardly any sleep, and I wake up at 4 a.m. I wanted to restring my guitar really badly. Okay? So I decide, alright, I'm gonna wake up early, I'll restring my guitar, because I had these dampened, like dead, no tone strings that I've been using forever that were on there. And so I start restringing my guitar at 4 in the morning. By 6 in the morning, like 5 or so in the morning, I don't know, it might have been 6, it was 5 or 6, something like that. I started stringing, and the tuning peg on the D string, as I was putting a new string on that, the tuning peg comes off. I've never experienced that in my whole life, ever. The tuning peg just slides off, and I'm like, what is going on right now? I'm like, so the screw was missing on the end of the tuning peg, which is a pretty bad deal. It's not a huge deal. Like, I was like, okay, I could probably put this thing in my pocket or whatever, right? Like, I had the string was off. I was putting on a new string, I believe. And then, yeah, so the tuning peg comes off as I'm tightening it, and the back end of it was scrolling up through the top, which is hard to describe. I got video of it and stuff, but anyways, basically the centerpiece, not only was that happening, but the centerpiece had started coming up and out of the middle, and then it fell out. And the centerpiece is the piece with the threading on it that the gear turns to make the strings tighten, and it came out, and it's the part that you put the string through. So the centerpiece falls out. Never in my life have I experienced anything like that. I had no idea what to do with that. Literally, like, I was freaking out about it. And so I'm freaking out. Like, you know, it's like 6 in the morning. I have 4 hours, and although I'm only a half hour from that place, no guitar places were going to be open at 10. And there was a guitar place in Moundsville that I found, but they weren't going to be open until 10. And I was even freaking out because I didn't bring all my guitar tech stuff, which was very stupid by me. But anyways, so I'm freaking out because I've never repaired anything like this. I have no idea how to do this. Even like the end piece that covers the gear, this little circle round piece, I don't even know how to remove. I had to start watching YouTube videos, and those were useless. Looking up all these tutorials, and I'm like, dude, I don't have any time for this. And then I'm like, am I even going to make it to the penitentiary now? And so I called them. I called them again in the morning, left them another voicemail stating what's going on, that I'm from Iowa. I drove 12 hours. I'm going to be at the photography tour. I do not have tickets. I hope I can come there, and by them, I will be there anyways. Right? So, so I'm freaking out with this problem, and basically I look inside. I'm freaking out about my guitar part, and I look inside, and the gear had been bent. That's what's been going on the whole time, is the gear inside of the tuning peg that moves with the threading was bent. Had been bent for a while because it started popping out a long time ago. I just didn't know if that's how it works because I'd never owned a resonator or a guitar that is quite like that. And basically that thing was popping out, and it means that the gear was bent and started forcing it out of the hole. And that's why it popped out in the first place, and why the screw came off the end of the tuning peg. So basically the way I rigged it up, if I would have known how to remove the end piece, which is a long weird, like, I didn't know how to remove the end piece to get to the gear, I probably could have gotten the gear out and actually put this in proper and wouldn't have made it worse. But basically what I did is turn the flat side of the gears towards the mechanism, the actual threading, and I just shoved it in there, you know, because I'm like, oh, it's flat. It forced it out in the first first place so I can probably force it back in. And that's what happened. I forced it in and it actually worked, thankfully. It worked and it gripped and it somehow managed to tune and tighten, and I rigged it up. And that was, you know, about 8:30 is when I probably got that done. Not, you know, probably a little later. Like literally well, no, I got it like probably 8:30, and I still wanted to make my hair straight because I'd been on the road for 2 days and kind of look ratty, and the only way for me to make my hair not look ratty is just go straighten it even if I haven't showered. Yeah, super not manly. The problem is I was at a truck stop, and you can imagine there would be nothing more embarrassing in the world than straightening your hair in the morning in front of a bunch of truck drivers, like a bunch of truckers. Nah, you know, you've seen them, you see them. Nah, yeah, I'm not doing that. And they have power outlets in the men's bathroom, but luckily they have a family bathroom with a lock on it. So I go into the family bathroom and, you know, with the lock, take my hair straightener in there, lock the door, and get my hair straightened. Make it look good so it's, you know, it's cool. And then I left with, you know, looking cool. Instead of like a, you know, an unshowered mess, which is what happens. Like sometimes my hair naturally looks cool, but like a lot of times it just become this greasy, weird thing. And I don't want to look like a greasy, weird thing. So whatever, dude. Truck drivers don't understand that. It's whatever. All right, so yeah, I hit the road, and then I get to the West Virginia Penitentiary at 9:15, which is an amazing thing. Like I get rolled up. That place is enormous, beautiful, huge walls. Really was a very cool, the pull up. I got a video of me pulling up to that place and just like my reaction. It's so cool. That place is big and mean and scary. I pull up and I call that phone number again, right? And actually, like as I pulled up, the girl that runs the front desk and opens the doors actually showed up and opened the gate and went inside, but put the lock on the gate a little bit just so nobody could come inside yet because they weren't quite open. You know, it was like 9:15. So I called the number again, freaking out because nobody had called me back. This time they answered, and I explained my situation, you know, that I'm from Iowa and I'm here to do the photo tour. And they go, yeah, the girl's inside. You should be fine. All you gotta do is buy tickets from them at the time on the spot. And I'm like, all right, good, yes, thank you, cool, right? So I go in my RV and I get all my gear packed up in my bag and my guitar ready, and I got myself ready by getting all dressed, you know, proper for what I'm doing. And then, yeah, I walk in. And I tell the girl what's going on, and then she rings me up. The thing is, the tickets online for the photography tour were 113, like a 113, it probably rounded up to 115, right? And when I got there, and they, you know, she rings me up, and then when I get there, it's $180. So I don't know if they just charged me extra or made something up, or, you know, charged me extra because I wasn't there. I didn't order online. I don't know. I had no choice. I paid them the money. So $180. And then I'm sitting there and a bunch of tours show up, right? There's a bunch of people in the waiting room and I'm waiting around for the doors to open. I brought my guitar and stuff in there. Everybody's looking at me because I'm wearing my guitar on my back, you know? And I'm like, oh God, am I going to be on a tour? How is this going to work? They're not going to have me touring with people and stopping and playing guitar for everyone, right? Because I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that. I've realized if somebody tries to make me do that, this isn't their kind of project to be doing that. This isn't a show, and it's not a, it's like a sacred ritual where I got to get in the zone and get my gear set up and then do my thing, you know? But now that I've done it a bunch, I know. But anyways, so eventually like 9:30 rolls around and she actually let me in early, like a little bit early, right? She's like, okay, I thought I was gonna go on a tour. She's like, okay, you can go ahead. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, just go in there. I'm like, oh, all right. So I just go, you know, she's like, you're just gonna go by yourself. So I grab my gear and my camera, I start walking in. Then I walk in and there's a door, like a gate in my way. And literally, like I was like, oh, okay. You know, go through a little maze and there's a gate and I'm like, oh, okay. And I turn around, I'm like, am I supposed to push? I had one of those buttons, you know, you push the button to let the prisoners in and out, right? And I'm like, am I supposed to push the button to open that door? And she's like, nah, you just grab it and slide it open. I'm like, okay. So I literally like let myself into this prison, open the door, and then I'm like free reign in this huge place, right? I have no idea. I've never been on the tour. I didn't, which is a mistake. Now I know that you should go on the tour first instead of filming. The problem is when I'm there with a goal, it's hard for me to want to go on a tour when I'm like, all I'm thinking about is getting my project done. But anyways, I go around, I walk around, and I make it to the first location, which is the prison cells, right? I'm like, okay, cell block. This is a good spot to record. And I probably could have scouted out the whole place, but it's like, okay, it seems pretty obvious that the cell block is going to be a major iconic spot, right? Because when you do these things, you really want to pick spots that are the epitome of the location you're at. Like where I'm standing right here at Lake Shawnee, these rides definitely represent what this place is. And like, so you record in front of what would try to record in front of what is the essence of the location you're in. Yeah, so I did the cell blocks and I recorded around and I did, and there were tours interrupting sometimes. But I did the main cell block and then I did the second cell block. I'm not sure the exact order. I did the second cell blocks. I did one of the cells had a bunch of Guns N' Roses stuff inside of it and a bunch of rock and roll stuff because like I said, the prison closed in 1995. So 1866 I think it was to 1995 or 96 something. It was open, right? So 100 years. No, more than 100 years. What am I talking about? Anyways, like 150 years. But it doesn't matter. Anyways, yeah. So they closed the place, and where am I going? Yeah, so there was modern stuff like Guns N' Roses and things in that cell block. So I recorded in there, and then I headed around, and I decided I would explore some of the grounds, and I asked once I did the second set of cell blocks, I was like, okay, I found a tour guide was walking by me. I was like, where is the Sugar Shack, right? Which is the hole, which is where Red, one of the people, had been stabbed and killed. And he was like, oh, the Sugar Shack, that's the hole. He's like, you walk out, you look for the white building, and you find some stairs going down, and you'll find it. He basically gave me these directions that, I'll be honest, were absolutely horrible. It's like I'm walking around all around the outside property, have no clue where I'm going. When it turns out, if you just went outside and you look down, once you got outside, there was the hole went right under the prison itself. Like, he made it sound like it was beside a different building. That's how I took it. Either way, I go to the hole, I look in the hole. I don't know, I did a live stream from the hole. I don't know if it was then or if I waited till later when I started doing that, but and then I was like, okay, this is really awesome, right? The hole was a really cool spot, and so I'm like, okay, the hole is definitely going to get a video if I can get the lighting, right? And I was tempted to go get the lights from my RV. Eventually, when I figured out that if you look at the prison head on, it's right underneath the prison. And it's literally like the basement. I wish you would have described it as that, as I would have understood it better. But yeah, so I find the hole, and I think I do a live stream. I go in the hole a little bit. I think I live streamed that. I'm not sure if I live streamed it or not. My first experience in the hole, whether that was the first time I live streamed or I just went in the hole then live streamed later. I'm not sure. Either way, it doesn't matter. So I go in the hole, and I definitely knew I wanted to make a video down there because, man, it was scary and dark and easily super menacing. Definitely fits the theme of what a scary prison should look like, right? It's the epitome of a scary, dark place, and along with the fact that people had been stabbed there and died down there. A man named Red. So I'm like, okay, I was running out of time, kind of. I mean, I was getting there. You know, I'd been there at that point in this story. I had been there for about, it was probably 1 o'clock. No, it was noon, maybe. Maybe. Around 12:30-ish. I'm just gonna wing it as far as that goes. Anyways, they, you know, I had from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. to do this, 4 hours, and I'm wandering by myself. So I'm like, okay, I have not been to the infirmary yet, right? Like, I'd been all over the prison. I was fairly certain I'd seen the cafeteria. I've seen all the things that make up a prison, right? So I'm like, okay, but I haven't seen the infirmary, you know, the hospital side of things. And I saw a sign leading to the infirmary with a door. So, and it was locked when I first tried to get to it, and they unlocked it because I was there too early, right? So they unlocked it. I walk up the stairs to the infirmary, and the infirmary's awesome, right? There's there's a dentist area, an x-ray area, surgery area, and not a surgery area, really. I mean, you know, it had a bathtub for where it looked like where they'd put people that were bleeding out. It was covered with blood that was probably fake. It was probably wax, because real blood would just become, you know, crusty mess. Oh, by the way, I'm at Lake Shawnee Haunted Amusement Park in West Virginia. I don't know if I mentioned that. That's what's going on behind me. We're being super unprofessional with our vlogging. That's fine. No one cares. This is not about being pro. There's a bunch of school buses. So clearly they're in school. Anyways, so I go through the infirmary and I start recording, and I record up there, and I get video in the x-ray room. I get video in the hallway, in the long hallway that's probably 100 yards worth of hallway. It's very cool. I did the x-ray room. I did the bathtub. And then I did just the hallway up there. And as I was doing the hallway, a bunch of guards walked up behind me. Well, okay, that's not the right way of doing the story. I was doing what I thought would be the final take. Like, I'm like, I gotta nail this, because I was running out of time. Like, it was probably getting to 1:15. And I'm like, dude, I gotta get to the hole, because I'm gotta be out of here by 2 o'clock. So I'm like, I gotta get one good one, you know, nail this. And I'm like nailing it, and I start hearing people coming up behind me. And I'm like, damn it, somebody's gonna ruin this. Which happened quite a bit. Like, I had a bunch of tours sort of interrupt, like by being loud and stuff, which is fine or whatever. They gotta do their thing. It didn't screw up things too bad. But basically I hear people walking up the hallway, and I'm like, damn, they're gonna ruin the shot. So as I'm recording, I just finish my take, and these people get right behind me, and I just like walk up, totally annoyed and pissed off, right? And I go up and shut off the camera, and I'm like, ugh, just like, god damn it. You know, that was a good take. And then I look behind me, and the guys come up like, oh, sorry, I hope we didn't screw up your filming. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's all good. You know, sarcastic and not happy. But it turns out that those people, like, I didn't realize this at the time, but now it seems like a cool thing. They were wearing uniforms of security guards, and they were actually security guards from a real prison, a local real prison, the new prison for West Virginia, and they were taking a tour that day. And so it was 3 of them, 3 or 4 guards, I don't remember. Yeah, and I talked to them and had a nice little conversation explaining how I'm going around recording acoustic guitar at haunted places. And they told me it sounded good, which was nice. So I got this video potentially, you know, I looked at it. It's okay. It doesn't quite depict what I wanted. of prison guards walking up behind me down a really long hallway, which you could imagine is actually like the ultimate thing. Like, I wish if I was like on the ball at the time, I would have been so cool that I would have could have had them walk up on me purposefully and made it look like prison guards are coming to get me, right? Wouldn't that be cool? But that's kind of what happened anyways. So I go down to the hole. You keep in mind, this entire time, it's 100 degrees in this place. Like, it was 100 degrees outside with no air conditioning anywhere. I'm lugging around equipment up and down stairs. I had to repack my guitar, repack my audio device, my audio recorder, and repack my stands all into the bag, and my guitar and everything else. Every single shot, because you can't really do it any other way or you'll break stuff. So I repack everything and move up and down stairs all over this huge prison for, you know, well, I ended up getting 5 hours, but I'm jumping around. Anyways, so I decided to go to the hole about 1:15. I go down to the hole and I start recording guitar, and man, was that a scary shoot. That's the scariest place I've ever been in my whole life. No question. The darkness down there was crazy. And that's where I really realized that my GoPros have no chance in the dark. Like, I've had this experience before, but this time I needed the light. And so luckily I have a nice phone, the Galaxy S10 Plus, Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, and it is a beast mode in the dark. It really does a great job. So I decided I'd use the light on my phone and film with that, because I did a live stream and I noticed how well it turned out. And I noticed my GoPros weren't having it, and I used the light on my camera or on my phone to try to light the place, and I had no chance with that. So yeah, no GoPros. I just used my phone, and I recorded in 2 different spots in the hole. But one of the spots, I was getting it so well, like I really felt on fire. You know, when you start getting in the zone and your playing starts really starts hitting it or whatever, you know, you start getting in the zone. That's all that I can say. And you can just start feeling it and hitting it every time. So I was like, dude, I'm gonna go live. So I hit the live button and I live streamed me playing guitar in the hole, and it went really well. People think they saw orbs. It turned out super badass and scary and crazy, and that video got 1,000 views in one day. You know, it kind of blew up because it proved what I was doing, and people liked it. So anyways, I finished filming the hole. It was really, really scary. I mean, there's videos of me, some of those videos are like, this is freaking scary, because there's one point where the light actually shut off on my phone while I was setting up equipment, and I was just like, not having that. It's just so scary and dark and musty. And so I finished filming down there, you know, using my phone, and I was just a sweaty disaster mess. It was so hot. I didn't realize that after I'd done it, I'd gone until 2:30, which I'm surprised they didn't call me or come looking for me, which was nice. That's what I expected to happen. I didn't know it was 2:30 though. By the time I got outside, I was like, damn, it's 2:30. And I went back to the place and I'm like, I'm sorry I went over the time. But the girl there was very cool. Like, she was super chill, you know, she was like just out of high school, and I was like, oh, that's fine. Actually, you probably could have been there for the rest of the time till I left, which is 4 o'clock. And I was like, oh, damn. But at that point, I was so sweaty and kind of burnt out from it. I mean, I did 5 hours. 5 hours of non-stop, no stopping. I had water with me. I had Gatorade with me. And literally all I'd eaten that day was one leftover White Castle hamburger from the day before. So you got to think, like, one leftover White Castle hamburger is no food, which is fine if you're like adrenaline rush, you know. And I was fine. I mean, here's the thing. Basically, after that, I went in my RV and I took off my shirt, because I'd been wearing that shirt, you know, my classier looking shirt. That's my man in black stuff, right? Like my Johnny Cash style. And the first thing I did, like, there was no air conditioning in that building, nowhere. I was dying, and I'm like, dude, I need some relief. It's 100 degrees, and my RV was hot. So I just take off my shirt, and I start my engine so I can get an air conditioner going from my RV. Luckily the air conditioner in my RV, luckily the air conditioner in my RV works. So I just sat there getting blasted by the air, just like, my God. Like, it was so many hot and weird conditions, and all the moving and lugging all that equipment by myself and setting up the camera, going back and forth, checking the framing and restarting all the devices. Like, it's pretty exhausting. But it's a labor of love or whatever. So then I was just hanging out in Moundsville, not sure what I was gonna do with the night. I was like, dude, I need to get a hotel room. But I hung out for a while. I walked around the mound in Moundsville, which I didn't know what it was at the time. You know, it took me a while to figure out what it was. There's just this big mound. But I'll save that story for a little bit later. Basically, what happened is I walked around the mound, talking on the phone with my mom, and just kind of reminiscing about what happened. And then tried to look for a hotel room. And I went to the closest, nicest one that I could find, which was a Sleep In, I think it was. And they were booked solid. And I'm like, really? It was a Monday and you're booked solid? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, why? And they're like, because we have oil workers who come in, and they come from out of state and stuff, and then they come and help do fracking. And I was like, huh. That's interesting. So then I decided, okay, I'm gonna call ahead, because if this is a real thing, like, Moundsville gets loaded with people on, and she's like, Monday through Wednesday, you pretty much never get in here. And I'm like, damn. So I called the next place, and the place said they had one room available, but the air conditioner, they weren't supposed to give it away, but the air conditioner had light through it. Like, if you look around, it was a mounted air conditioner, and you could see light from the outside. I was like, okay, that's weird. She's like, yeah, I just need some caulking. I'm like, yeah, okay. I wanted somewhere nice, right? With a pool and comfortable atmosphere. And so I ended up calling Comfort Inn. They had a room. I drove there, had a disaster trying to park my RV because it was literally loaded with trucks. Like, white trucks, tons of white trucks. From workers, the same situation, nearly completely booked full, and I could barely find a parking spot in that parking lot. And then my goal was to try to get food, and it was starting to get late by this point. I was like, I want to swim in the pool to get relaxed, and I need food because I was starving, right? And like, I was starting to get delirious because I'd been sweating all day with no food and no anything. And basically I ended up trying to get a hold of Domino's, but I didn't know where I was actually located. I should have went to the front desk and asked, but I didn't care. Like, I was trying to use my Google stuff, but Google doesn't really do a very good job at telling you where you are sometimes. Like, they can give you directions and stuff, but then when you're like, where am I? It sometimes has no idea either. Like, I mean, I used it to get to the hotel, but I didn't know. It was dumb. Anyways, Domino's. I saw a bunch of people getting Domino's, tried to get Domino's. That didn't work. Wasn't able to get Domino's delivered to me some reason. I'm sitting there starving, and I'm like, the pool closes at 11. I have like, and some food places will be open past that. What I'm just gonna do is go swimming, because that's what I wanted to do. So I went down, went swimming, got in the hot tub, had one of the most relaxing nights of my entire life. Just floating in the pool. No one was in the pool. I was just by myself, and just felt like I dominated. Like, that live stream that I did was one of the best pieces of art I've ever made. Like, and I knew it, and everybody, and I killed it. I killed it, dude. And everybody loved it, and it was awesome. That was still one of the best things I've ever done in my whole life. I just slammed it, and it was great. I wish I could have live streamed from last night. I would have done a live stream guitar thing, but you know, that's a different story. Yeah, so I killed it. I went in the swimming pool, and then the swimming pool closed at 11, so I got out of the pool and the hot tub, and then I went back to my room, tried to order Domino's. No success again, because I couldn't figure out what I was doing or what I was supposed to do. And then I'm like, okay, I got a free continental breakfast. I'll just wait till the morning to get that breakfast. So I go to bed. So that's where day 4 starts. That was a very long explanation for day 3, but a lot happened on day 3. So day 4, August 20th, that's the next one I'm gonna do.